The distress call was old, weak, and almost forgotten. It came from a small alien world at the edge of known space. The planet had no great armies, no powerful allies, and no strong shields. It was a quiet place, home to families, workers, and children who had never seen war before. Now war had come to them. Enemy ships filled the sky. Cities burned. Defense platforms were destroyed one by one. The alien leaders sent their final distress call into the void, knowing the chances were low, very low. Far away, inside the great hall of the Galactic Council, the signal appeared on a dim screen. It blinked slowly, losing strength with each second. Most council members did not look at it for long. "There are no fleets close enough," one said. "And even if there were," another added, "they would arrive too late." The council searched their records, hoping for a miracle. Then an old file appeared. A human fleet. Status: lost in action. The data was years old. The location listed was beyond mapped space, deep in unstable regions filled with storms and unknown dangers. Most believed the fleet had been destroyed long ago. No human ships could survive there, a counselor said. Humans should have declared them dead, another replied. The file was closed. The distress call continued to fade. On the alien world below, people cried as enemy ships descended closer. Families held each other. Children asked questions. No one could answer. Hope was almost gone. Then space changed. Sensors across the system screamed warnings. Energy readings spiked without reason. The enemy fleet paused, confused. A ripple moved through the stars. Something was arriving. One by one, massive ships emerged from hyperspace. They were old. Their armor was dark and scarred. Their markings were faded by time and battle. Some hull plates were mismatched, repaired with whatever material had been available, but they were human. Ancient human. Warships long thought lost. The alien defenders stared in disbelief. That can't be possible, one officer whispered. The enemy fleet hesitated. Human ships took formation, moving slowly but with purpose. Their engines burned hot, pushing damaged frames forward. These ships did not rush. They advanced like warriors who knew exactly what they were doing. A transmission opened across all channels. The signal was rough, filled with static. "This is Human Fleet Command," a calm voice said. Distress call received. Across the alien world, people stopped crying. They listened. "We were delayed," the voice continued. "But we are here." The enemy fleet reacted first. Weapons charged. Energy beams fired toward the human ships. Human shields flared old, cracked, but strong. First human ship took a direct hit. It did not fall. It kept moving forward. Alien. Observers watched in shock. "That ship should be destroyed," someone said. But it was not. The human fleet answered. Railguns fired. Missiles launched. The old ships fought with careful, deadly precision. Every movement was practiced. Every shot counted. These were not fresh soldiers. These were survivors. As the battle grew, the aliens on the planet watched the sky turn bright with fire. Enemy ships began to burn. Some tried to retreat. Human ships blocked them. Inside one of the ancient vessels, Captain Riacol stood on a worn bridge. Screens flickered. Warning lights blinked. Her crew was older than most. Faces marked by years of survival. "We still remember how to fight," one officer said. Cole allowed herself a small smile. "We never forgot." Enemy fire struck again. The ship shook violently. A console sparked. "Damage report," Cole ordered. "Minor systems down," came the reply. "Hull holding." She nodded. "Good, move us forward." The alien defenders could not understand it. Why would humans send ships they thought were lost? Why risk them now? The answer came quietly through another human transmission. "We promised," the voice said. "We would return." On the surface of the planet, an alien elder fell to their knees. Tears ran down their face as human ships filled the sky. "They did not forget us." The elder whispered the battle was far from over, but hope had returned, and the fleet everyone thought was gone was fighting again. The sky above the alien world was full of fire and smoke. Enemy ships circled like predators, ready to finish what they had started. Missiles flashed. Energy beams cut through the air. Buildings on the planet burned. Families hid, praying for a miracle. Then came the human fleet. They were old. Their paint was scratched, their hulls patched countless times. Some ships had parts replaced with whatever materials were available. But they were alive, and they were ready. The enemy opened fire first. Bright beams struck human ships. Explosions rocked the fleet. Alarms blared across bridges. Warning lights flashed like lightning. The first human cruiser shuddered as it took a direct hit. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the corridors. Crew members were thrown to the deck. It did not stop. It moved forward. "Return fire," ordered Captain Rhea Cole. Railguns roared. Missiles launched with deadly precision. Every human ship moved like it had survived 100 battles before. The enemy paused, confused. They had expected hesitation. They had expected retreat. They got none. Alien observers watched in awe. "No fleet could survive that," one whispered. "They are unstoppable," another said. The human ships took formation around the planet. The old fleet moved together, covering each other. One ship blocked an enemy missile aimed at a city. Another intercepted a beam that could have destroyed a bridge. On the surface, alien children peeked from hiding. They could see the sky filled with human warships, each one firing, defending, surviving. Their parents' eyes were wide with disbelief. Inside a human destroyer, Lieutenant Samir Patel checked his systems. "Shields holding at 95%, he reported. "Hull integrity 78%, another officer said. "Keep moving forward," Captain Cole said calmly. The enemy fleet tried to push past. Energy beams and missiles struck human ships again and again. Some of the old vessels shook violently. Smoke poured from damaged sections. Crews struggled to keep systems online, but the humans kept going. They fought like they were born for this. They did not retreat. They did not hesitate. Every movement was precise. Every shot was deadly. The aliens on the planet began to whisper. "They are not new," one said. "They are veterans. They are protecting us," another added. The enemy realized they were facing more than ships. They were facing experience, discipline, and determination. They had expected humans to be weak. They had expected fear. They had been wrong. A massive enemy cruiser charged toward the planet's capital. Citizens screamed. Missiles streaked toward it. A human frigate intercepted. Missiles exploded, tearing holes in the enemy hull. Crew members worked frantically to fire railguns at close range. Sparks flew as metal tore metal apart. The enemy ship slowed, wobbled, and finally veered away. Alien defenders could hardly believe it. "How?" one asked. "They are saving us," another replied, tears in their eyes. The human fleet advanced slowly but steadily, holding the line. Their ships were old, patched, and battered, but they fought as one. They refused to die. Captain Cole observed the battle from the bridge of her flagship. "Hold formation," she ordered. "We protect them all." Her crew nodded. They trusted her. They knew their mission. One by one, enemy ships began to retreat, confused and battered. The human fleet pressed forward, not chasing recklessly, but making sure the planet was safe. In the streets below, aliens finally dared to come out of hiding. They watched the sky. They saw their protectors, the humans, fighting with unmatched courage. The elder of the planet raised their hands to the sky. "Bless you, humans," they whispered. "Bless you for coming." Captain Cole sent one short message across all channels, both human and alien. "We are still here," she said, "and we will always come." The enemy retreated fully, but the battle was far from over. The human fleet had shown the galaxy something important. Old ships, thought lost, could still fight. Old crews, forgotten by most, could still protect. And the aliens below had seen it. They had hope again. The sky above the alien world was still alive with fire and smoke. The enemy fleet had retreated for now, but their threat lingered. The citizens on the planet could finally breathe, yet they stayed close to their shelters, watching the stars in awe and fear. Human ships moved slowly over the planet, scanning for any remaining threats. Each vessel showed signs of age scars, patchwork repairs, and faded markings, but their presence alone inspired hope. The aliens on the surface had never seen anything like it. These ships, thought destroyed long ago, were alive. And they were here for them. Inside the flagship, Captain Rhea Cole stood on the bridge, observing her fleet. Crew members moved quietly but efficiently, repairing minor damage, adjusting shields, and monitoring weapons. Every action was precise, every command calm. Years of survival in harsh space had taught them patience, endurance, and focus. A junior officer turned to Cole. "Captain, the people below, they are looking up. They've never seen a fleet like this." Cole allowed herself a small smile. "They will remember it," she said, "and they will know they are not alone." The aliens were beginning to cry not from fear, but relief. They understood finally why these humans had returned. Short messages began transmitting from the human ships to the planetary communication network. Simple, calm, and direct. "We heard your call. We are here." Humanity does not leave its friends behind. The aliens could not believe it. These humans had been lost for decades, trapped in unexplored regions, surviving alone, and yet they came when needed most. No one expected them to return. No one expected them to fight again. No one expected them to care. A young alien child watched the sky, pointing at the massive human ships. "Mom, they came," the child whispered. The mother could only nod, tears running down her face. "They did," she said softly. "They remembered us." The enemy fleet, now regrouping at the edge of the system, observed the human ships carefully. They were learning something unexpected. These humans did not retreat. They did not hesitate. Even damaged, even old, they were still capable of turning the tide of battle. Captain Cole addressed her fleet over the intercom. "Listen carefully," she said. "We have survived alone for years, far from anyone who could help us. We trained. We repaired. We waited. And now we are here." The message resonated across the alien communications network. "We were alone," Cole continued, "but we never forgot. And we never gave up. Those who send a distress call, those who call for help, they will never face danger alone while we exist." On the planet, the elder looked up at the fleet. Their eyes were wide, filled with tears. "They have not forgotten us," the elder whispered. "They have remembered everything." Meanwhile, human engineers on the ships worked tirelessly. They repaired weapons, patched hulls, and recalibrated shields. Each human knew the mission was bigger than themselves. They were not here to gain glory. They were here because it was their duty. Because that was what humans did. The enemy realized their mistake. They had expected fear. They had expected hesitation. They had expected a lost fleet to be weak, slow, and ineffective. They were wrong. The humans had been trapped beyond known space for decades. They had survived, repaired their ships, and trained endlessly. And now they returned not for revenge, not for conquest, but to save those in need. The aliens cried openly now. Tears of fear had turned into tears of joy. Families embraced. Children cheered. Scientists, soldiers, and civilians alike watched the old human fleet protect them from the shadows of enemy ships. Captain Cole looked out of the viewport at the planet below. "Mission ongoing," she said softly. "We protect them, and we will not fail." For the first time, the galaxy began to understand something important about humanity. It was not strength alone that made humans feared. It was their loyalty, their courage, their unwillingness to leave anyone behind. And as long as humanity remembered those they had once protected, hope would never die. The battle was over, but the sky still glowed with the scars of war. Smoke and fire slowly drifted across the atmosphere. Enemy ships had been driven away, but the humans did not relax. Their fleet hovered above the planet, scanning for any hidden dangers. Every crew member remained alert, every weapon ready. On the planet below, alien citizens stepped cautiously from hiding places. Families hugged tightly, eyes wide as they looked upward. They could not believe what they were seeing. Ships thought lost for decades were hovering above their world. Ships that had survived alone in deep space, now fighting to protect them. Tears ran freely down the faces of those who had long given up hope. Scientists, children, soldiers, and elders all watched in amazement. They had expected death. Instead, they saw humanity's promise fulfilled. We are saved," an elder whispered. "We are truly saved." From above, Captain Rhea Cole observed the planet through the bridge's viewport. "Keep positions," she ordered. "Do not underestimate the enemy. We don't know if any are still hiding." The human fleet moved with care, covering every region where enemy ships could still threaten the planet. Old ships fired in unison, clearing debris, intercepting any remaining missiles, and showing the aliens below that their safety was the top priority. Alien sensors captured the scene. Across distant worlds, observers watched live transmissions. Images of humans fighting with worn, scarred ships spread through the galaxy. And everywhere, the same reaction followed: awe, shock, and admiration. The humans were not asking for thanks. They did not seek fame. They acted because it was the right thing to do. Meanwhile, small groups of alien citizens gathered on hilltops, sending prayers of gratitude toward the stars. Some wept openly, unable to contain the emotion they had held inside for years. Their voices carried across open communication channels, reaching the fleet in quiet, grateful tones. A young girl named Tira clutched her mother's hand, staring at the sky. "They remembered us," she said, tears shining in her eyes. "Yes, they remembered," her mother replied, voice trembling. "And they risked everything to come back." Captain Cole sent a short, calm message across all open channels. Distress call received. Mission ongoing. Humanity has returned. The aliens heard it and wept with joy. Some fell to their knees. Some embraced one another. The message was simple, but its meaning was profound. They were not alone. Humanity had not forgotten them. Humanity had come back. The enemy fleet, scattered and confused, observed from the edges of the system. They had expected fear. They had expected hesitation. They had expected easy victories. Instead, they saw humans fight with relentless courage, even in worn ships, even after years of isolation. They saw loyalty, precision, and teamwork that could not be broken. And slowly, fear entered their hearts. Above the planet, human ships continued to cover all sectors. Rescue teams landed on the surface, helping injured citizens, repairing damaged buildings, and ensuring that the aliens could start rebuilding immediately. Medics worked tirelessly, not asking for anything in return, their calm efficiency inspiring everyone who saw them. One alien scientist approached Captain Cole via comms. You came when we thought no one would," the scientist said. "Why?" Cole replied simply. "Because you sent a call for help. Someone must answer. That is what humanity does." Across the galaxy, that phrase began to echo. Humanity answers. It became a symbol of hope, a promise, a legend spreading from world to world. The enemy began to retreat further, no longer daring to challenge the humans directly. They had learned a lesson they would not forget. Humans may not be the largest or fastest, but when called, they would return. And they would fight. As the humans stood guard over the alien world, the citizens below wept openly. Not from fear, not from despair, but from joy. They had seen their saviors. They had seen humanity's forgotten fleet rise again. And for the first time in years, they felt hope that would not fade. Captain Cole looked at her fleet, her voice calm but filled with resolve. "Mission ongoing," she said. "Protect them. We will not fail." The sky cleared slowly, but the memory of humanity's return would remain forever etched in the hearts of those who witnessed it. Tears flowed across the stars, and the galaxy learned an important truth. When humanity returns, hope always follows. The alien world was finally safe. Buildings still smoked, skies still glowed from battle, and the ground shook with the aftermath. But for the first time in years, people could step outside without fear. They saw the fleet above them, human ships still patrolling the skies. Scarred but vigilant. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. This time, no one ignored the message. Holograms filled the council hall, images of human warships, railgun strikes, missiles detonating against enemy vessels, and recordings of humans rescuing aliens from collapsing buildings. Every council member watched in silence. They had doubted humanity, ignored the fleet, and now they saw the truth. These humans, a counselor said quietly, they fight not for glory, but for honor. Another counselor nodded. And they never forget, never abandon. That is why they are feared, respected, and trusted. Captain Rhea Cole addressed the council via projection. Her uniform was marked by battle scars, and her voice was calm, steady, and commanding. "We answered the call," she said. "We were delayed, yes. We were thought lost. But we are here. Humanity does not leave its friends behind. And we never will." The alien survivors, now safe on their planet, watched the transmission in awe. They whispered to one another. They remembered us. They came back. Tears streamed down faces across the planet. Old wounds, old fears, and years of hopelessness were replaced with relief and joy. Even the enemy fleet, observing from afar, understood the truth. Humans were not just strong, not just brave, but loyal, relentless, dangerous. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Recordings of the battle, the rescue, and the humans' calm courage inspired worlds that had never seen humans before. A phrase began to echo in countless star systems. When humans answer, hope follows. The humans did not linger. After ensuring the planet's safety, the fleet prepared to depart. Ships powered up, ready to return to deep space, where decades of isolation had taught them endurance and patience. Captain Cole sent one final message to the grateful aliens. Below, remember this day. Humanity is here, and we will always answer. The ships jumped into hyperspace. Gone but not forgotten. On distant worlds, distress calls began to change. No longer did civilizations wonder if anyone would respond. They whispered instead, will humanity come? Because now, the galaxy knew the answer. The humans had shown that fleets thought lost could return. They had shown that courage, loyalty, and patience could overcome despair. They had reminded the galaxy that even in the darkest hours, help would come. And somewhere deep in unexplored space, the enemy fleet remembered the battle. They had underestimated humans once. Never again. The galaxy learned to hope. And humanity, as always, was the reason. For even when fleets are forgotten, even when worlds are lost,